Hey everyone, and welcome to this week's development log for Blink. It is about 7:55 on Monday morning. Just finished up our workout and I'm getting ready for work, but I wanted to quickly show you the progress that I made yesterday. This is small but pretty significant in my mind. So pretty much just got the game running on device finally, both on my iPhone and my iPad. So that's exciting. This is going to give me the chance to kind of actually play this game with my finger rather than the mouse and help me identify some balancing and gameplay issues that I couldn't otherwise identify on the PC. So this is a big step. I'm glad I got it on there. And once I get back from work, I'll kind of talk about my plan for the week. Hey, welcome back. It is Monday evening around 5:50 p.m. I got back from work, did a couple chores, and even though I don't think I'm going to sit down and actually code or make any development progress for Blink right now, I did want to try and do a little bit of organization for this week. So what I did do is change my Trello board up a little bit, try to organize things a little bit better in terms of how I actually find myself doing the work, which I think will be helpful. More specifically for this week, I pretty much have one really important task that I want to focus on. These top three are kind of like little defects that I want to fix, or small enhancements that I want to make. This fourth one is kind of the big one: implement intermission features. And this is the period in between which you filled between 5 and 10 circles, the camera zooms out, and you've got a couple seconds to kind of gather yourself before it zooms into another locale and you fill more circles. During this time, I want to do a couple things. I want to show your accuracy during that previous period at that previous locale. I want to update your score multiplier based on how well you did. And finally, I want to change the number of fireflies that you see blinking in the background. The idea being, if you did quite well at the last locale, all of a sudden there's way more fireflies in the scene. If you did poorly, there would be less. So that's what I want to focus on this week, these kind of items here and to do this week. And finally, the last one, this would be really great if I got to it, is doing pickups and power-ups. So things that might potentially change how snappy the firefly moves around when you drag your finger, or I don't know quite yet what they're going to be. I need to do some brainstorming about that, but that's the next big gameplay feature I want to implement. So anyway, I feel good that I've got a little bit of organization here. I'm going to relax for a little bit, and then later I'll decide if I'm actually going to make any progress tonight. Hey y'all, welcome back. It is Wednesday afternoon, just got home from work. Last time you heard from me was on Monday, which pretty much means that I've made no progress on Blink yet this week. It's been kind of a hectic week, been busy after work until today. Gonna sit down, I've got some free time. Hoping to make a bunch of progress today, so just gonna sit down for a coding session and we'll see where we get. All right, so the plan this evening is to work on these three things. First, giving more feedback when you start dragging the player. When I started playing this on my phone, I found that I wasn't always sure if I had successfully grabbed the player as he was kind of gliding around the screen. So I'm gonna improve that a little bit somehow for now. I'm also gonna fix a bug with the number of target circles that you can hit before the intermission. I thought I programmed between 5 and 10, but sometimes it happens with just one. So I gotta figure out what's going on there. And then finally getting into some more feature development here. I'm gonna try and do some cool stuff during that intermission period where you're moving between locales. The most important thing I think would be calculating your accuracy during at the last locale where you fill between 5 and 10 circles. And then based on that accuracy, maybe we'd update the multiplier and change the number of fireflies that you see blinking in the background, just as a nice visual enhancement. So I'm gonna get started on these, and I'm hoping that I can kind of show you my solutions as I work through these tonight. So catch up in a bit. Okay, so we finished these two smaller tickets that I wanted to work on, and now I'm going to move on to these intermission features. I'm going to start working on that now. In a little bit, I'm going to get started on dinner since Kate's working late and I want to get that cooking up before she gets home. I may not have another update tonight, but whenever I do have some stuff to show for these features that I want to implement, you guys will see it. So I'll see you in a little bit. Good morning, everyone. It is 6:30 or about 6:30 on Thursday morning. Looks like it's going to be a beautiful sunrise, but I'm not going out there because it's very cold, like 13 degrees. Although some portions of the country I think are like negative 50 right now, so I shouldn't complain. Let's go get some coffee and get to work on Blink. Alrighty, so I've got some basic accuracy tracking working. I'll show you how I've set that up. It starts out here with this locale accuracy variable. Let me zoom in here. Which starts out at 0. And then if we check out our record circle fill function, I'm going to call calculate accuracy. And that's going to be based on the player distance to the target. So if we look at that, that's down here. And basically all I'm doing is I'm grabbing the diameter of the target circle, which doesn't change. So I probably don't need to be calculating it as often as I am here. And then I make a quick little calculation for the accuracy, basically subtracting the distance to the circle from the diameter of the circle and then dividing that again by the diameter of the circle. So if you're right on top of it, this is going to result in a value of 1, and that's going to get smaller as you get further away. And I'm basically here just setting the minimum. So if you're completely outside the circle, rather than be negative, this is just going to be a 0 value. And then I'm appending it to that locale accuracy, but that's just going to grow that number. That's not taking an average or anything. So what I'm doing to get the average is, I've actually got this little computed guy here. And what that's doing is returning this locale accuracy, which is a big number based on how many times you fill the circle at that locale, and divide that by the number of circles we filled, which gives us the average. And then of course we multiply by 100 to give us kind of like a larger number that looks better. So if we go ahead and run that, you'll see once I change locales that in the bottom left here, we're going to get a debug statement about our accuracy. So I'll try and do my best here. And I got 79.95% accuracy on that run. So I'm pretty pleased with that. It ended up working pretty quickly. So the next steps, ooh, that's too much. Where are we? I think the next steps are going to be to try to make some decision on how the multiplier is going to be affected by your accuracy, and also add more background fireflies. So let's get to it. Alrighty, one last update before I head off to work this morning. I've got some of the multiplier logic working. So I've got these two variables here. This is the one that actually contains the multiplier that the score uses, and this one just helps us access it and set it. And it also is responsible for setting the text on the canvas that you see on the screen. How I'm using that is when we change the locale, we're going to do stuff during the intermission here. The first thing is calculating the average accuracy. And the second thing is we're actually going to modify the multiplier for that accuracy. So we're passing that in, and down here I've got a very simple mapping for how I want to modify the multiplier based on the accuracy. There's probably a cleaner way to do this, but this is what I've got so far. Basically, if you have higher than 90% accuracy, the multiplier is going to go up by 6. If it's better than 80, it goes up by 4, etc. And if we are below 70% accuracy, the multiplier is actually going to get cut in half, so we're going to get punished for that. And when that value gets set, it gets updated on the canvas thanks to the property, how I set that up above. So let's go ahead and give that a try over here. So we start out at 1. Sorry, it's really small right now. I need to do some work on the UI here. So we'll fill some circles. Oh, I'm not doing so well here. So our accuracy was 73, so our multiplier should go up by 2. So now it's at 3. And each time we fill now, that multiplier is being applied to the score. So each circle fill is counting for 3 points, which is nice. That time I got 80%, oops, so this should go up by 4. Now it's at 7. So I'm kind of building upon my progress by consistently doing well, which is part of the way that I want to reward the player. So my score is kind of skyrocketing right now, which is fun. Back to 70, so that should go up a few more, and then maybe we'll do a bad round here and see if I can't get it cut in half. Need to keep the scene lit though, is the tough part. Okay, yeah, here we are at 64. Oh boy, that got cut pretty hard. I need to check and see if that was right. I wasn't paying attention. But anyway, this system is basically working, which I'm happy about. So that said, I think that was good progress this morning. I should probably go to work, so I'll catch up with you guys in a bit. Hey, welcome back. It is 7:15 a.m. on Friday morning, sitting down with a cup of coffee for about 45 minutes of dev time on Blink before I go to work. It just really occurred to me that this is going to be my last chance to work on Blink for the weekend. My folks are coming in from out of town, and I'm going to spend this afternoon after work kind of prepping for them to get here, cleaning up the place and whatnot. So with that said, I guess I'll kind of update you on what I'm going to work on here, and hopefully we finish that stuff up before I make this video. Definitely the last thing I'm going to work on this morning is kind of a continuation of what I was working on yesterday, updating the number of fireflies on the screen based on the accuracy that you had at the previous locale. So I think that's going to be pretty easy and pretty quick. This other thing that I kind of thought of this morning was just to make this scene look a little more dynamic is rather than just have the target circle sitting completely still in the scene, I'll just have them rotate just to, I don't know, make things look a little more alive and dynamic. So I'm going to try to knock those two things out and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so as expected, the firefly thing was pretty simple. Basically here in our show intermission stats function where we've been working over the past couple days, I'm going to call modify fireflies for accuracy, which looks a lot like modify multiplier for accuracy. If we go ahead and check it out, you can see the logic is actually shared right now, and I think I'm going to tweak this to make it a little bit different, but I'm okay with having the scaffolding in place right now and not necessarily spending a lot of time balancing it. As you can see, based on your accuracy, we're just going to call set fireflies and pass in a different value based on how well you did. So here in set fireflies, this is pretty simple. We've got this target number called fireflies. I probably should rename that. But anyway, we modify our existing list of fireflies to match what we want it to be. And that's it, and it works. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next thing. Hey guys, so I thought I got the rotation working. In fact, I think I'm pretty close, but I ran into a silly little bug here. Basically, I've got a prefab for this target circle. So I was in the prefab editor, which I love, in the new version of Unity, by the way, and threw on this little rotator script that I just created that, you know, super basic, just a nice little easy component to take care of that for me. And it's not quite doing exactly what I wanted it to do, so I got to make a change real quick, I think. Alrighty, so after a quick change, we got that fixed up. I should have had these X and Y values set to 0 here, and that ensures that we're only rotating on our Z axis here. So if we pop over to Unity, we can see that we've got some nice rotating target circles. I think these are nice. They add just, you know, another moving component to the screen, which makes it feel a little more alive and dynamic. So I'm probably going to keep these, and I'm happy with how easy it was. I think that's going to mark the end of this week's video. I'm going to spend the rest of the morning getting some of my clips together for editing later this weekend. And yeah, just get ready for work. As always, I really appreciate you guys watching. If you have any other ideas for how you want to see this series progress, please leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. I tried to make this video a little more technical. I like talking about the code and the solutions to some of these problems, and I hope you guys enjoyed hearing about it. So yeah, I'd love to hear any feedback, and I really appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next one.